Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. With the sales coming out yesterday, we weren't able to get to a bunch of other news items which ended up happening, so I thought in this video we would have a look at them and also talk about some of the issues that the game has been having over the last few days. Of course, one of the major mechanics of the game just hasn't been working, which is missiles, and to be honest, it's quite a big deal, and I hope that now, after this update from today, or hopefully tomorrow, they get it fixed, because it is a game-breaking bug, and it seems like every time we have these updates now, there is at least one which is game-breaking, but this time, this one's lasted a little bit longer than usually. Usually, there is normally maybe 1, maybe 2 days of the game-breaking bug, but this one has been here already for a few, and we'll have to see what happens with it. In this video, we'll also cover how to get a bunch of free stuff over the next few weekends, and then also the new Pages of History, which is a fantastic hero to see. As always, if you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe and also like the video. Let's get started. For free stuff that's available over the next few weekends, basically the Armored Apex Playoff is happening, which is the esports event. This means that Twitch drops will be available on the 28th to the 29th of June, so basically tomorrow, and then also the 5th and 6th of July. In the first weekend, you have some boosters, RP and SL, 50% for 10 battles each, which is fantastic. By the way, if you want to also get some boosters which are that big and also don't have kind of time limits on them, type into your code area on the Gaijin.net store, WTVK, all in caps, and you'll get access to it. It's basically to celebrate VK, which is the Russian social media platform, and it just gives you a free booster. On the first weekend, you also get 1 day of premium. You also get the Armored Apex 2025 decal, and also the F2 Hamura camouflage. So basically setting up for the F2. Then on the second weekend, which is the weekend straight after, the 5th and 6th of July, basically you get a 50% off RP booster and an SL booster, 1 day of premium, the Armored Apex player background, and also the Green Knight profile icon frame, and the Leclerc MSC Fractal Prism camouflage. The profile icon and also the player background are a little bit more useful now. You don't just see them for personal use, but when you destroy an enemy, they see it too. So basically, you can kind of show off your stuff. It's kind of nice. I hope they change it slightly so it like fades in and it doesn't just wah, and then also maybe move it slightly to the top right or top left instead of smash in the center. Kind of ruins the kill cam a bit. It's a bit big, but you know, they'll make it smaller. So yeah, you can get a bunch of free stuff basically over the next few weekends while watching the events. And you know, it's always nice to get free stuff in the game. It was kind of interesting looking at the teams that are available to watch in this Apex playoffs. Basically, they're all the same names again, apart from one. Team Ethereal is new, so it'll be interesting to see some new competitors. And also, there is like a sister team of one of the other teams that came in. So basically, you have two teams which are, well, based around the same brand, and competitive integrity might be a problem, but nobody cares in esports, so it doesn't really matter. But it's just something to, like, think about. I don't know. It just seems like something that you can't guarantee. It's like having, I don't know, when in CS2 you would have Na'Vi and then you'd have Na'Vi juniors at the same event. Doesn't seem like a good idea to kind of have that setup. The next piece of news is for next month's Pages of History, and this one is the Irish Lion, and it is one of the most interesting people when it comes to the Second World War, at least from the Allied side of things. It's Paddy Mayne who's coming in as this month's Pages of History. Now, Paddy Mayne was one of the founders of the British Special Air Service, which is of course the SAS. In 1941 and 42, he and his men carried out sabotages on Axis airfields in North Africa, destroying over 100 aircraft. And as a commander, he fought in the Sicilian campaign and later in France, the Netherlands, Belgium, Germany, and also Norway. He was awarded the Distinguished Service Order with 3 bars, which means he was awarded it 4 times. Paddy Mayne is a really interesting human, and Basically, if you want to kind of see a very good kind of representation of him, you can actually go and watch a series called Rogue Heroes. Now, it is a dramatization, at the end of the day, but it gives you at least an overlook of what is, the formation of what the SAS is. Basically, the person who plays Paddy Mayne is a guy who is called Jack O'Connell, which is a very generic name for an Irishman. But also, he was in Sinners recently. He actually played the devil. If you haven't watched that movie, would highly recommend that. But SAS Rogue Heroes is actually a BBC show, and it's available on Prime, at least in Canada. I don't know if it's available on Prime in other areas, but if you're really into World War II history and also really like drama series, you've got to watch this show. The first season is amazing, and the second season is also incredibly good. And it's just one of those which I would really, really highly recommend, just because of the fact that they actually put a lot of effort into like the set designs, and also they do tell the story very well of the formation of the SAS. And I feel like with the SAS, you don't have a ton of, I suppose, movies or TV shows around it, and this one kind of hits the nail on the head of how it was, set up. So for the pages of history, in order to get his profile picture, you have 8 consecutive tasks from the 1st of July until the good old 31st. So basically, the first one is Operation Seydlitz, which is 1942. Once again, Eastern Front. Operation Citadel is going to be the next one, which is 1943, Eastern Front. So once again, Germany versus Russia. The next one is the Allied invasion of Sicily. So that, of course, is one which will be pretty cool. The Battle of Solsti is the 4th one, which is, once again, Eastern Front, 1941. So we literally have 1941, 42, and 43 Eastern Front. Then also, guess what? We have the beginning of the Battle of Stalingrad, which is going to be another Eastern Front one. And then you have the Battle of Guam, which turns up, which of course is in 1944, America versus Japanese. Battle of Radzymin, which is also going to be 1944. And this was once again Eastern Front, because it's the Polish kind of area near Warsaw. And then you have Operation Bluecoat, which is 1944, Western Front. So pretty much all of this is Eastern Front, going to be like 5-0 to 6-0 Germany versus USSR, but there are some which are at least a little bit different to grind out, and generally that means that this will be mostly available for everybody. So make sure to get this one. It's a really cool profile picture and one which is definitely worth it. And then, of course, the last part, which is the game-breaking bug. If you haven't seen since the updates, basically proximity fuses on missiles sometimes work, and then also sometimes don't work. And this was something that I don't remember happening on the dev server. It seems to be a change that they've made, moving the game from the dev server to the live server, and it's pretty much made a lot of areas completely unplayable because of the fact that it's just made the game a complete RNG fest. Sometimes you're able to destroy targets, other times you're not able to destroy the target. So basically you can die and it's no fault of your own. And one of the issues that War Thunder's had in the past, especially when it comes to specific bugs or even specific mechanics, is dying when you have done nothing wrong is not very fun. And this is kind of the epitome of that, or not getting a kill when you have done nothing wrong. When you've done everything right and nothing ends up happening, that's also incredibly frustrating. So they did actually mention it in one of the update notes that they're working on it. They did say we are aware of issues with the damage of air-to-air missiles and issues with the interface. We are working on resolving them as soon as possible. Thank you for your patience. What is kind of surprising about these is these fixes usually come in very quickly for game-breaking stuff. I remember some of the other kind of game-breaking things that turned up. There was the one where you could crash specific planes into the ground and that would crash the server. That one came in very quickly. There was also, certain other ones where you could fly under the water. that they fixed very quickly. There seems to be an issue on Kuban right now where you can get under the map and shoot people upwards, which of course isn't exactly fantastic, but I haven't seen any mention of them fixing this yet, and I wonder kind of what's going on with it. So hopefully they get it fixed, because otherwise it's just going to be a mess, because at least right now, I know a lot of people want to see like the new content and, you know, grinding it out, but the way that I see it is, if I make like videos on like the new SAMs, like I've seen other people do, or if I make new videos on like some of the new aircraft, basically it's just not going to tell you the truth. And it's just going to be completely different in the next few days. Like I get, like, when it comes to YouTube, one of the main things is like rushing out content, so therefore you can get the most views as possible because you're the first one to do everything. But when it comes to these updates, it always just feels super disingenuous, because a lot of vehicles, especially the new ones, get completely changed even within the first kind of week of them being added to the game. If you don't believe me, you can think of stuff like the Panzerhaubitze that came out last year, where even when it hit the live server, it went through 3 or 4 different iterations before it is the Panzerhaubitze that we see today. And so if you'd made like an early review of the thing, like if you'd requested it from Gaijin and then you played it for like, you know, a few hours and then basically just made a video based on your thoughts and making it a huge review, it basically just is completely null and void within that time, because they fundamentally changed how it works. And I feel like that's how it is right now, and I'm worried that we're getting to a point where, because the idea, especially with reviews in War Thunder, is just to make stuff as quick as possible and then just vomit it out there to kind of, you know, show off the new thing and kind of move people's opinions on stuff, it's going to have a super detrimental effect on how people see these things. I've already seen it with a bunch of vehicles where I get told that they're either really bad or really good from people who've just never played them, and instead just watched a video which has told them it's either really bad or really good, and they can't give any discernible information on why it would be bad or good. Or maybe they watched a video like 2 years ago about a vehicle and how great it was, something like, I don't know, the MiG-23ML, and how it was able to dominate the game, without, you know, looking at it today after the radar changes and also after the meta changes, where now it faces a bunch of Hornets and it just gets eaten alive. And it's a constant problem with War Thunder and also a bunch of other games. So when it comes to this stuff, especially if there's game-breaking bugs in the game, usually it's best not to even bother with reviews until things are fixed, because what you're going to be told today is not going to be reality even over the next few days. It's wild. Let me know your thoughts on it, and as always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.